Right, hi guys. I apologize for being a bit late. I'm just lagging a bit. So anyway, let's just get straight into today's lesson. Okay, so yes, I believe I am sharing my screen. So today we are going to be talking about whether and a time you taught a friend or relative something. So I won't waste any of you guys' time. Let's just get straight into it. So part one is going to be about weather. Now, the first question is, what do you think are the effects of climate change in recent years? So I'll just slow down a bit. Now, climate change basically means a change in global or regional climate patterns, like global warming. So let's say a place's temperature is rising and it's getting really hot. That's called climate change, or when it's getting really cold, that's also called climate change. It's basically like a change in the temperature. So the question's asking what are the effects of climate change, right? So what does climate change do? So for example, if it's really hot, you could say something like um, climate change, uh, let's say it dries out the plants, for example. So I made a response here that says climate change has had a negative impact on wildlife and agriculture. Since many countries are experiencing heat waves and droughts, crops dry out much faster. As a result, farmers struggle to keep fields fertile, making prices for food increase. Overall, the effects of heat waves has had a detrimental impact on agriculture, right? So let me just go through why this response is, let's say, good, right? Now, the first sentence, right? It's a very strong topic sentence. It answers the question right away, okay? And the examples, right? Which is heat waves and droughts and what the impact of it does, okay? So I want you guys to aim for something like this. Now, this is like I would say a pretty good response, but I would still want you guys to have something like this, right? So I'll go over this one. Now, this response, right? The person said, I think climate change has had positive and negative effects, right? But the problem about this sentence is that it doesn't really answer the question well, okay? Because it just states like a fact. It doesn't really state an argument, right? Because people already know that climate change has positive and negative effects, right? So I want you guys to say, like, answer the question. So, like, has a negative impact on wildlife and agriculture, right? Okay, so that's enough of me explaining this. Let's get some responses. Right. Can we get Khánh Mai?
Uh, well, I think climate change has caused a lot of serious problems in the past few years. Uh, the most obvious one is the weather becoming more unpredictable, like extremely hot summer, heavy rain, or storm happening more often. It also lead to rising sea level, which can affect people living in coastal areas, and overall it makes life harder for many communities because they have to deal with natural disaster more frequently instead of.
Yep. Okay, so I am actually very impressed with this. Um, yeah, my hands are very cold right now, so I can't really type that well. Okay, so the first sentence you said, I think climate change has caused a lot of problems, right? So again, I like this topic sentence. The most obvious one is the weather becoming unpredictable, such as hot summers, heavy rains, and storms. Okay, so you followed this which you listed the examples of climate change, right? And the effects, like saying what this does, and then you had a linking sentence, right? So you did exactly what I wanted you to do, okay? You should be very proud of this response. The the tiniest thing that I would change is just like this little topic sentence, okay? So you said, I think climate change has caused a lot of problems, right? I want you to think how it causes the problems. So you can say something like, I think climate change has caused a lot of problems by, and then you can add something there. Overall, I really like this response. You should be very proud of yourself. Now let's get Ming.
And
Yes, can you answer the question, please? Yeah, okay. I'll just put you back on mute. Um, right, let's get Ming up. Okay, Chami. Chami, can you answer the question? Okay, let's get Ming Guang.
so I think climate change has become much more obvious in recent years. The weather is getting more extreme, like hotter summer, heavier rainfall, and the summer sudden storms. Even the seasons feel less stable. So I feel like these changes are affecting daily life more than before.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so you said climate change has become much more obvious in these past years, right? The weather is getting more extreme, such as hotter summers, heavier rains, and certain storms. Okay? So, okay, you did the first two steps correctly. You had a good topic sentence, and you listed types of climate change, right? And you said this season feels less stable, and these changes are affecting the daily lives more than before. Okay? So, you pretty much answered um like the impact of what climate change does, right? By saying affecting daily lives more than before, right? So what I would just add to this, I would just want you to have like I would just want you to discuss the impacts of climate change a bit more. So because you only said it's affecting daily lives, I want you to say how it affects people's daily lives. Like, do you know what I mean? So just elaborate a bit more on this, and then you can have just like a linking sentence after this. So you can say something like, this season feels less stable, as it uh less stable as it affects the lives of people by etc. Something like that. Okay. Overall, I like this response. Okay, let's get one more because these responses are actually pretty good. Nguyễn học.
Um, I suppose that climate change has had a lot of negative effects on uh, Earth in the recent years. Um, one of these most serious consequences is uh, like the temperature growing up, uh, leading to um, ice melting. Um, this this destroys uh, the polar areas, creatures' life, and also like make the sea level rise, uh, affecting the life of the people live near the ocean, the sea.
Yep, was that all?
Um, that's all.
Yep, okay. So I really like this response. Okay, so I suppose that that climate change has had a lot of negative effects on Earth in the recent years, okay? Uh, I would want you to be more specific with this. So you said climate change has had a lot of negative effects on Earth, right? I want you to be more specific, like what part about Earth? I know you said something about like the colder areas, right? Like the Arctic areas. I suppose that climate change has had a lot of negative effects on you said ice caps, right? In the recent years. One of the most serious consequences is the temperature growing up. Okay, I would just like to introduce a new word called global warming, which the name explains itself. It's the globe warming up, which is just temperature rising, right? Leading to ice melting. This destroys the polar areas, creatures' life, and makes sea levels rise, affecting the lives of people near the ocean. Okay? So yeah, that's the only thing I would change. It's just the topic sentence. Yeah, so I would like you guys to just be more specific and concise with your topic sentences. Just make sure that it answers the question. But overall, I really like these three responses. Anyway, let's move on.
Can I
Okay.
answer the question?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I think climate change have both good and bad effects. In some places, warmer weather can help plants grow better, but overall it's caused more problems like extreme heat, heavy rains, and rising sea level, which make life harder for many people.
Yep, was that all?
Yes.
Yep, okay. All right. So, you said climate change has had good and bad effects, okay? So again, I would just like to say something about the topic sentence again, right? I know I'm being quite like picky on this, but topic sentences are very important for your Ielts. It's the thing that catches the attention of like the person that's hearing you, okay? So you just want this to be like very good, okay? So you said I think climate change has had good and bad effects, okay? Now I would just want you to just pick one side, okay? I don't want you arguing for both sides because like I don't know, you just ideally for these kinds of questions just argue for one side. So let's say you said climate change has had bad effects, right? Or and let's say on what? So on something, right? And you said warmer weather can help plants grow better but cause more problems. Okay, so again, we're arguing how climate change is bad, right? So we won't want to be talking about the good side of climate change. Okay, so warmer weather, you can say warmer weather causes. UV rays, rising sea levels, and making life harder for many people. Okay, this is already like a better response, I reckon, because of the topic sentence and just arguing for one side. You know what I mean? So yeah, try to just focus on one side. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. What is the weather like where you live? Now, last week I checked the weather forecast in Hanoi, and it was like storming, like pretty bad, I think, and it's like pretty humid as well. So you can say something like the weather is humid with frequent thunderstorms, and then I want you to include how it feels. Like it makes the air feel heavy and sticky, right? So for this sample, I just wrote, in Sydney, the weather has been unpredictable, right? So this is my topic sentence, right? And I also included examples and included a sentence at the end. So try to aim for something like that. So just topic sentence, example, and what it does. So let's get Hương Giang.
Uh, Honestly, I prefer cold weather most because in cold days
Wait, sorry.
I can wear my
No, I'm so sorry to interrupt. We're answering this question right now, and I think you're answering like a different one. So
oh
would you?
sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I apologize for interrupting you. Just yeah. It's just this question.
Um mm, can I have more time? I
Yeah, of
can
course. Uh, okay. Let's get Khắc Hưng or Khắc Hưng.
Um, with my knowledge, I think Vietnam has two main season, a dry season and a wet season. Mm, so not experience cooler and dry in winter and hot wet in summer. Mm, the central region has a lot drier period and rainy season with typhoon from and the south is hot years round with long rainy seasons and that's all.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't really hear you for this response. But it's perfectly fine. I can just pick you for another question. Right. Okay. Anyway, well, I'll just pick someone else. Let's go with Minh Huyền.
Uh, um, uh, the weather where I live is warm and it's warm and humid throughout the year. In the summer, it often gets very hot, uh, and the high humidity makes the air feel heavy and uncomfortable. Um, um, there are also rain shower and thunderstorm in the afternoon. Yeah, is it?
Yeah, okay. What was that word that you said? I didn't quite hear you at first.
is humid. Humid.
Like humid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, the weather where I live is warm and humid throughout the year. Okay, so this is a good topic sentence. You just answered it straight away. And you included examples as well. So in the summer, it gets very hot, and the humidity makes the air heavy and uncomfortable. There are also rain showers in the afternoon. Yeah, again, just include another sentence on like what this does and how it like affects you. You can say something like it just, I don't know, it just like makes life harder or something like that. Okay,
Can I answer now?
yeah, okay. Yeah, you can answer, Hunzan.
In Hòa Bình recent days, the weather goes really strange. Like there was a week the temperature felt so low, and suddenly the next week was filled by sunny lights. Overall, I think the sudden change affects negatively to me, like in both my mental health and physical health.
Okay, right. So you said in Hòa Bình, recent days, the weather goes really strange, right? And you said there was a week where the temperature felt something, and then the next week it was filled with sunny lights. Okay. Okay.
Is
So
the temperature fell low.
did you say loud?
Um, it's like
What's the Vietnamese word for it?
nhiệt độ xuống thấp ấy ạ?
Nhiệt độ xuống thấp. Yeah. So it like goes cold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a week where the temperature, uh, let's say, oh, sorry, you can say something like where the weather was, let's say freezing, right? Which is very cold. Freezing, and the week after that was filled with sunny lights. Okay, the sudden change affects negatively to me, like your mental health and physical health. Okay, I like this response. I wouldn't really add anything more to it, except just try to like elaborate on your like arguments a little bit more. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, we will just move on. All right, let's go through these questions a bit quicker. So, do you prefer cold weather or hot weather? Okay. So, I would just like you guys to pick one side. Again, I said from the start, just pick one side. Okay, you can't just say, oh, hot weather and cold weather has positive and negative benefits, right? Don't do that, okay? I want you guys to pick one side, and you guys just can't argue like anything else, okay? And examples as well, okay? So for me, I prefer cold weather rather than hot weather, okay? So immediately answering the question, when it's cold, I feel more comfortable because I can apply more layers and wear better outfits, right? Additionally, exercising in cold weather feels better, especially when I go on a run, right? So something like that, a very simple question. It doesn't need a very long response. It can just be just answering the question and answering why you picked it. All right, let's go. Phúc Đại.
So I prefer cold weather rather than hot weather. It is because I really like the freezing atmosphere where I can wear a lot of clothes. And I like freezing weather because it also reminds me of Kate holidays where I mm, gather up with my family. It's just very comfortable. Um,
Yep. Was that all?
that's all.
Yep. Okay. That is good. I prefer cold weather rather than hot. Okay. So again, answer the question. It is because you like the freezing atmosphere where you can wear a lot of clothes, and you like freezing weather because it reminds you of holidays and it's very comfortable. Okay. Okay. What I recommend, I don't really like using like two words close together, right? So for example, this this word and this word, they're the same word and they're close together. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I read it and then like 2 seconds after I read the word again, like that's not really like ideal. So I would just like to mix it up a bit. So instead of saying freezing, I you can say like I like cold weather, right? So just like mix it up a bit. You don't always have to use the same word. Try not to repeat yourself as well. But overall, right, you basically did like everything that I asked for you to do. And yeah, so this response is nice and concise. Very good. Let's get Tu Hương.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry.
Um, I prefer hot weather than cold weather because I feel more active when the weather become warmer. I can swim or have um, and more activity in outdoor. In addition, I like the clothes in uh, s- hot weather than cold weather because I feel uh, more comfortable.
All right. Okay. So you said you prefer hot weather rather than cold weather. Okay. Because you feel more active when the weather becomes warm, right? And then you also listed the reasons. And yeah, okay. So again, I wouldn't add anything to this response. Again, it's nice and short, just how we would want it. Yeah, okay. So let's just have one more response and then we can move on. Uh, let's get Thùy Dương.
Trần Thị Dương or Nguyễn Thị Dương.
Nguyễn. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, Nguyễn.
I prefer cold weather because I love the cool and fresh air, and it's more comfortable for me. Another reason is that I can wear a variety of outfits like coats, sweaters, and jackets.
Right. So you said you love the cool and fresh air and it's more comfortable for you. Another reason is that you can wear a variety of outfits. Okay, look. So you said like clothes, sweaters, and jackets, right? So sweaters and jackets, they're a form of clothes, right? So you can just like remove this word. So I can wear a variety of, let's say like clothes again, right? So I can wear a variety of clothes like sweaters and jackets, okay? Okay, so you answered the question and you had some examples, okay? So it's a good response. Okay, moving on, guys. Uh, okay. Now, the question is, would you like to visit other cities that have different climates from where you live? Okay? So you can say something like, yes, I would like to visit cities that have different climates, because you want to experience some new like temperatures, like snowy cities or like cool mountains or like just like hot beaches or something, right? Something like that. Or if you want to say like, no, I don't want to visit other cities, and you can say something like, because like let's say you can't handle like the cold or something. So you can say something like that, something along those lines. Let's get Guangming.
I'm here.
Yep.
Um, yes, I would. Uh, I would like to visit cities that have different climate. Where I live is it's so very hot and sometimes have a rain. So I want to try the new weather, like the snow or cool weather. So I'm done.
Yep. So, all right. Okay. So you answer the question. That's good. Where you live, it's okay. So you said it's so very hot, okay? I wouldn't use the word so. So you can say it's very hot and sometimes rains and occasionally rains. It's just like it just sounds a bit better than the word sometimes. Um, so I want to try the new weather. Now, okay, yeah, I wouldn't really say new weather. I would say different weather, right? Because like new weather is just like something people haven't experienced before. Like let's say like acid rain or something something like that. I don't know. Different weathers like snow or cool weather. Okay, so yeah, I like this. Let's pick something else. Oh, sorry, someone else. Twingun, Twingun. All right. Chami.
Yes, I enjoy visiting other cities that have different climates, but only the cold ones. Mm, the weather where I live is hot and humid, which sometimes make me feel tired. Mm, So I would like to move mm, to somewhere else. Mm, That is more comfortable. Mm, That's all.
Yep. Thank you. Okay. So you said you enjoy visiting other cities that have different climates, but only the cold ones. Okay. So let's see. Would I change anything from this? Um, okay. Look, such as the cold ones, right? And you said the weather where I live is hot and humid. Okay, very good. Which sometimes makes me feel tired, so I would like to move somewhere else that is more comfortable. Okay, so this last sentence, you hesitated a bit on what you were going to say, so Okay, I'll just help you on this one. Okay. Instead of saying so, I would say something like therefore, okay? Therefore, I would like to move somewhere else that is more comfortable. Yeah, okay, that's basically all there is to add. This is a pretty good response. All right. Hoàng Mai.
Yes, I would like to visit other cities in my area. The weather is cold and rainy that I don't like to live in. So I would like to visit a warmer and cozier city. I think it would be interesting to enjoy a new atmosphere.
Yo. Okay. Okay. I like to visit other cities. I would like to visit other cities, right? And this is the second sentence. In my area, the weather is cold and rainy. That I don't like, okay? So it's just some grammatical errors. So instead of that, it's which I don't like to live in, okay? So I would like to visit colder cities. Um, it's interesting to enjoy new atmosphere, okay? Yeah, okay, so that's basically it. All right, okay, guys, we're on to part two now, which is describe a time you taught a friend or relative something. You should say who you taught, like as in like, oh, I taught my friend, right? Or something, or like my classmate, my dad, something like that. What and how you taught, okay? And like for this instance, right? I did just like showing like someone how to play guitar, okay? Something like that. I did this by showing him a few chords, what the result was, okay? So like you can say something like he got better at playing the guitar and explain how you felt about the experience. You can say something like this experience made me proud. So when you're planning your response, try to just like think of these like four categories and try your best to answer it, and then you can form your response from there. Okay. So look, let's take a look at this one. Okay. So, um, I taught my close friend how to play the guitar, right? Which answers this first one. And I also said when it happened, right? Which is about a year ago. And this is how I taught him. So by showing him a few basic chords and then what the result was, okay? So he could play a full song after, right? That's the result. And this made me feel proud, right? So that's how I felt. So I'll give you guys about, let's say, 5 minutes to think of your response, and I'll see you guys then. Okay, guys, I hope that was enough time. Okay, let's just get some responses. Okay, first off, is there anyone that would like to volunteer to answer this question? Alright, let's go Chen Tuizeng.
So one memorable time when I taught someone something was when I showed my close friend how to bake a type of soft biscuits that tastes almost like a mini cake. This happened a few months ago when my friend became interested in baking but didn't know where to start. I decided to teach her a simple recipe because it doesn't require many ingredients, just butter, sugar, flour, eggs, and a bit of vanilla. I taught her step by step. First, I show her how to cream the butter and sugar until the mixture become fluffy, and then I also taught her how to adjust the temperature so they wouldn't wouldn't burn. At first, she struggled with measuring ingredients and mixing evenly, but after a few tries, she got the hang of it. When the biscuits came out of the oven, they smelled amazing and tasted even better. She was very proud of herself. These experiences made me feel happy because I not only shared something I enjoyed, but also helped my friend gain confidence in baking. It was a simple moment, but it strengthened our friendship. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, okay. So, you taught your close friend how to bake a biscuit that tasted almost like a mini cake, right? So it happened a few months ago. Um, yep, months ago when your friend became interested in baking but didn't know. Okay. So, right, you taught her like step by step on how to like make the butter like stuff fluffy, right? And then you taught her how to like adjust the temperature so then they wouldn't burn. Okay, and okay, so you answered these two already, okay? And what the result was, okay? So yeah, I'm pretty sure you answered that. But yeah, I don't think I just like typed it down, but you definitely did answer that. And you said you felt like proud after. Yeah, you said you felt happy, okay? So yeah, you just answered basically all of this. And I wouldn't really add anything to this apart from just speaking a bit slower, but that's literally all that I would add. So yeah, I like this response. Let's get Ming Tu.
One memorable time when I taught a friend something was a few months ago when I introduced my close friends to a new mobile game that I had been playing. It happened during the weekend when we were hanging out at my house. He saw me playing the game and being curious because the graphics looked interesting. The game was a strategy game, so it wasn't very easy for beginners. At first, he didn't understand how to control the characters or how to build a strong team. So I decided to teach him step by step. I explained the basic rules, show him how to complete the first missions, and told him which items were important to upgrade. I also gave him some simple tips that I learned from my own experience, like quick characters were the best to use at the beginning. At first, he was a bit confused and kept making small mistakes, but after a while he started to improve. I feel quite happy because he enjoyed the game and we could have fun together. That's all.
Right, okay. Okay, I like this response. Because yep, so this is who you taught and when it was, and yeah, okay. So this is how you taught him, right? So you taught him the basic rules and stuff. Um, Again, I like this response. I wouldn't really add anything to it. Okay, so we are actually running very good on time. Yeah, okay, so again, I would just like to say this response, again, pretty good. Okay, guys, next part is part 3, which is the discussion questions. Okay, so for these questions, I won't be providing samples, but this is just gonna be to like assist you, okay? So if you guys feel like you can't answer the question, just try your best, alright? Because I'm here to just like teach you. So just try your best to answer these questions. Okay, so first question. Do you think teaching by showing is more effective than telling? Okay. What this means is basically like, do you think teaching by showing? So teaching by showing is basically like actually physically showing the person how to do something. Like, for example, if I want to teach someone to, let's say, play guitar, for example, I would show them with a guitar, okay? Rather than just like telling them, like, oh yeah, like this, that, the other, something like that, okay? So, in your first sentence, right, you could say something like, yes, I think teaching by showing is more effective than telling, okay? That will be your first sentence. Your second sentence will be explaining it, and you can be like, this is because teaching by showing can make the information more memorable, something like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, guys, make sure to try your best on these kinds of questions. Let's go, Hang Mai.
Um, yes, I think teaching by showing is more effective than just telling. This is because many people learn better through visual learning and hands-on experience, so they can actually see or try the activities instead of only hearing the theory. Mm, Um,
Yeah, I think you said like theory there. Okay. Okay. So, okay. This first, okay. Right. Okay. So I really like these two first sentences, right? I know it's a bit difficult since you don't have like a sample to refer to, but you still did a pretty good job, okay? So, right, that's a good first sentence. And then you said many people learn better through visual learning and hands-on experiences instead of learning like theory, for example, okay? So, yes, you make a very good argument, okay? So, yeah, just try using some like examples and you can like relate this to like let's say um like science, right? So for example, science on how like doing like practical activities can make you like something, right? So you can do, for example, topics like science. require, and then you can add stuff from there, okay? Yeah, okay, so overall I like this response. Let's go with Ming.
Yes. So, in my own opinion, I think teaching by showing it's more effective than by telling, because it will help learners remember longer and understand the problem better. For example, if I teach my friends how to play basketball, I will show him uh, those skills with a real ball, instead of telling him words by words. So he can understand better how to apply those skills in reality, and improve his own skills. So that's it, I think.
Yep, okay. Yeah, I'm actually very impressed with this. Right, so, right. This first sentence, it's already very good. For example, right, okay, so this is the example, right? For example, if I teach my friend how to play basketball, right? And all that, right? Um, yeah, okay, and you also included explain your reason in the first sentence as well, right? When you said because it will help learners remember longer and remember better. And you also had examples, which is very good, okay? And you also used linking words, okay? So, yeah, I really like this response. Yeah, let's move on to another person. Um, Minh Ngọc, Minh Ngọc.
Can I see the question?
Yep.
Yes, I think teachings I think showing will more uh, effective for student than telling, because it helps student uh, uh, can image. Uh, can you give me some idea?
Yeah, okay, right. So you said showing is more effective for students than telling because, and you can say something, right? You can relate something to visual learning, like looking at it and like what it does, hands-on experience, as in like s- you can teach someone to do something by having them do it themselves, or um, put theory into practice, right? So what this basically means. Wait, hold on. I think I'm just like saying a bit too much right now. You could say something, right? Like because it helps the learner um, process information better, right? That can be your first sentence, and you can build off from there.
Well, why students learn by doing, they can put theory into practice. Then they can uh, know. Uh,
Yeah, just let me know if you're like stuck on anything. I can just help you with it.
well, they can. They can actually see how something works instead of just listening to explanation. Uh, this method is memorable, which make it easier for students to retain information.
Right.
I think
Okay.
that's all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was actually very good. So, it helps the learner process information better, right? While students learn from doing. Um, all right, okay. So, while students learn from doing hands-on activities, like you said, right? They can put into practice and they can, I wouldn't really use like the word actually. You can just like leave it as that, and they can see how something works instead of just listening to an explanation, right? And you also said like what this does, right? Yeah, okay, so I like this response. I would just recommend for you to just add a few examples. You can say something like, for example, in sports, players tend to learn better from watching someone play instead of someone telling them what to do. Something like that, okay? So yeah, this is overall a pretty good response. All right, guys, next question. Can someone become a good teacher without natural talent? Okay, so give a clear opinion. Now, I know I said give like a balanced re view, but I reckon you guys can just do yes or no and support it with logic. Like talk about, yeah, again, the skills that can be learned, and you can say something about like, look, I know I said that you can't really argue for both sides, but you can say something about like how like the other side wouldn't really work, if you know what I mean. So you can say something like, yes, someone can become a good teacher without natural talent as long as they like train like daily or something. You say something like that. Or they can develop through experience, right? They can develop their skills through experience. Yeah. Again, like dedication, hard work. Okay, so if you guys struggle with this question, just let me know and I can just assist you. Let's go. Nguyễn Học.
Uh, well, yes, I think uh, uh, some people can become a good teacher without natural talent. Um, um, well, um, to be a teacher, uh, natural natural talent is never enough. We have to like uh to be hardworking and actually like enthusiastic about like be teaching no to students or anyone. Um sorry, it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah, just try your best.
Um uh mm, like mm, I think I need more time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this response is already pretty good, especially because you don't have a sample. Okay, anyway, I'll just give like all of you guys just like a little head start, right? So you can say something like, a good teacher requires effective communication, right? Which just means like you can communicate well. Skills and let's see, and empathy and patience, let's say, right? These skills can be developed through experience, right? Okay, so a good teacher requires effective communication skills and patience. These skills can be developed through experience, okay? This can be like one of your like sentences after your first sentence. So once you say something like, yes, I think some people can become a good teacher without natural talent, you can say something after, a good teacher requires effective communication skills and patience. These skills can be developed through experience. Okay? So yeah, that's just giving you guys like a bit of like a little hint. Yeah, so this is just all like done using just the vocab here. So okay, I'll just pick on someone random. Ming Huyen, would you like to give it a try? Okay, let's yeah, okay.
Oh, um, um, I, yes, I think someone can become a good teacher even without natural talent. Many teaching skill, such as effective communication, empathy, and classroom management, can be developed through experience and continuous practice. Uh, um, yeah, yeah.
Yep, okay, thank you. So, yep, okay. Many teaching skills can be such as effective communication, empathy, and classroom management can be developed through experience and continuous practice, right? So, yeah, this basically just answers the question well. And okay, I think this question is like a bit too hard. You guys are getting a bit stuck on it. Let's just move on to the next question. Um, yeah, we just have one more question after this, so that should be fine. So, is it possible to succeed in other areas such as sports without talent? Okay. So, for this one, you can give a balanced view. So you can like argue for both sides, right? And then you can use examples like famous athletes, right? Let's take like what LeBron James, right? He was probably not talented back when he was like younger. So he worked hard, right? Again, hard working. Yeah, so this question is actually like pretty easy. You can just say something like, "Oh yeah, as long as someone works hard, they can reach their potential. Success doesn't come overnight. They can train consistently, right?" So I'll just start you guys off. I'll be nice. So you can say something like, Yes, I think, sorry. Yes, I think it is possible to succeed in sports without um, any talent, right? Uh, let's say, for example, a hardworking athlete can reach their potential, right? Can reach their potential uh, with hard work or something like that. And then you guys can just work off from there, okay? So let's go Phúc Đại.
So yes, I think it's possible to succeed in sport without being talented. Like for example, a hardworking athlete can reach their potential with hard work.
Yeah, would you like to like discuss some of like the benefits of having like talent or something? Because you can just have a balanced view.
Yeah.
So you can say something like, on the other hand, uh, athletes that are naturally talented. Okay, and then you can work off from there.
Mm.
You can say how the athletes have basically like a head start, but won't necessarily succeed in the sport if they don't put in the hard work. You can say something like that.
So on the other hand,
Yep.
athletes that are naturally talented, um, without consistently training, can be not successful in that area. But overall, I believe that um, with enough each effort and passion for that sport, um, everyone be can succeed in it.
Yep. Okay. So, athletes that are naturally talented without consistently training can be not successful. Okay. So this is a very strong argument. Okay. And then you also had a linking sentence, right? Which is very good. So you should be very proud of this response. Um, yeah, overall, it's very good. I wouldn't add anything to it. You use like the vocab correctly and everything. Yeah, so very good effort. Let's go, Thu Hương.
Yes, in my opinion, uh, uh, can I see the question again?
Yep. I'll actually just move your response like up here so you can just see it the whole time. Yep.
Uh, in my opinion, any people can uh, become a athlete without talents because in any any uh, skill can become better when uh, when they are hardworking. For example, uh, you when they run every day uh, with the way the teacher mm, show so the the healthier will be improved and uh, the and they can run better than before. Um, Overall, any skill can be successful uh, when you chịu khó luyện tập là
Yeah,
chịu khó
what's
luyện
that
tập
word in
là gì?
English?
In English chịu khó luyện tập là
Chịu khó luyện tập.
um,
It's like,
when you
hard work.
when
yeah,
you learn
what's this?
more.
Okay, when you learn more. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, the word you were looking for is when you work hard. Okay.
Because what hard I used before hardworking, so I don't want
Oh,
to
right.
use this
Okay, so you don't
word.
want to use it. Okay, yeah, I understand. Okay. So, if you, let's say when you train consistently,
When you train
it
consistently,
basically just means the same thing. Yeah, consistent, it just means like over and over again.
yeah, train
Yeah,
consistently. Yeah, sure.
right. Okay. Yeah, I like how you didn't want to repeat yourself. Okay, that was very good. Okay. Okay, so any people can become an athlete without talent because any skill can become better when they are hardworking, right? Very strong sentence, okay? For example, when people run every day, um, with the way the teachers show, uh, I think we can change this to with the way,
Together, together.
sorry, can you say that again, please?
Dẫn.
Yeah, okay, with the way they were taught, right?
Mm. They were just okay.
Yep. The
Mm.
healthier will be improved and
And
oh
people
no,
can
the health will be improved. Yep.
help. Mm.
Yep. Their health will improve and they can run better than before. Okay. So that sort of makes more sense now.
Mm.
Overall, any skill can be successful when you train consistently. Okay. So
Mm.
yes, this is very good. I think this is one of like the better responses that we've had. Yeah, you should be very proud of yourself. Very good effort. Okay. Last question. We're gonna go a bit over time here because I joined in late. I apologize, guys. Anyway, let's just go through this last question. Can people become good at something without daily practice? Okay, so basically, it's almost the same thing um, as this question up here, except it's can someone become good at something without practicing every day? Okay, so you can say something. Yeah, again, I'll just start you guys off again. Okay, so what I would say is, uh, Let's see, what would I say? Yeah, okay, so I'll be arguing that people can become good at something without daily practice, right? So I'm arguing that they will be good without practicing daily, okay? So, right, I'll just start this off by saying, uh, yes, I think someone can succeed in a certain field without practicing daily, right? Right. Someone who practices, sorry, someone who, let's say, like trains every day will um most likely achieve their goals quicker than let's say a person who trains less, right? So I said someone who trains every day will achieve their goals quicker than a person who trains less, but the person who trains less could also become good at that one thing, okay? However, the person who practices uh less will eventually reach their let's say like result or something. Something like that, okay? So I try to aim for something like this. It's like a little basic because it's just like off the top of my head. Okay, let's get Nguyễn Thùy Dương. Okay, let's get Quang Minh. Also, guys, you can like argue that like people can't become good at something without daily practice. Like you can say something like hard work, you need consistent effort or something like that. Um, Thùy Ngân. Okay, Chami, would you like to try? Alright, Minh Tú. Minh Tú.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, I think it is possible, but only for people who have the real talent. Some individuals are naturally gifted in certain skills like music or sports, so they can improve faster even without practicing every day. Um, However, I think their progress could still be slower than if they practice regularly. Is that's all.
Yeah, okay. This is a very good response. You mentioned how like it's only for people who have real talent, right? And you included like examples, which I really liked, okay? You should be very proud of this, especially because we don't have like a sample, right? So, this response I really like, okay? Um, yeah, so very good examples. And then you also said the progress will be slower than if they practice regularly, right? Very good, okay? I'm very impressed with this response. Um, yeah, okay, I think we'll just leave it as that. Yeah, okay, that is the end of our lesson, guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye bye, teacher. See you next week.
Yep, bye-bye.